Hey YouTube, TJ with another deck tech. This one's for standard. No big events going on at the minute. Just FNMs, gateways. Just anticipating the release of Gatecrash now with the great spoilers we've been getting. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this. This is a modified version of the last deck tech that I did. I was just wondering what you think of the changes that I've made, whether I should go back. But yeah, let's get on to it. So the creature base is 4 Geist of Saint Draft. They speak for themselves. I've gone down to 3 Restoration Angels because late game they're not that great with set first to block the Thragtusk that seems to have been able to stay on the board for some reason. Still really good at bouncing Thundermaws, especially with the haste and pinging ability for flyers. We're still at 4 Snapcaster Mages because the flashback obviously is relevant, having flash, low cost creature, and we're on 2 Thundermaw Hellkites, which are great for dealing with Lingering Souls, and they're just a great finisher as soon as we hit them late game. Enchantments, we're only running the 2 Detention Spheres, which are great for getting things like Lingering Souls off or any zombies that have like the Undying triggers like Geralt's Messenger and such. Moving on to instants and sorceries, we're running 3 Azorius Charm, lifelink, or give your creatures lifelink, or draw a card, or use the spot removal to deaden the draws and just bounce it to the top of the library. It's great especially if the mana starts and you want to get that out of the way. 1 Izzet Charm. Now that's to either do it's basically a spell pierce, a shock, or a Faithless Looting at instant speed for 2 mana, which is always great. The Faithless Looting bit really not so much because a lot of the time you don't want to be getting cards out of your hand unless of course you've been drawing into land all game, and this is an out for that. We're running 2 Counterflux. These are great for just stopping the control wars I've been finding myself getting into a lot. Cards like Dispel and Negate seem to be running around everywhere, so this just puts a stop to that, especially with the overload cost. And we're running 1 Essence Scatter, which is primarily for Thragtusks, Thundermaws in the mirror match and such. I mean, 1 Syncopate, which is a great counter spell. Not as good as I did think it was at first, but it's great early game when they've just not got the mana and they have to tap out for everything. And 1 Dissipate, which is great because the Exile, especially like including with the Syncopate, is just great for getting rid of like Reanimator matchups that can just keep recasting the threats. So now we're mainboarding 2 Sphinx's Revelation, card draw and life gain at instant speed. It's only really good when it's for huge amounts, well not for huge amounts, but about 3 or 4 mana. I wouldn't be paying these like these for 1 or 2, I would want to keep these back, unless of course I was only at 2 life and having to do it. And we're running 1 on Summon, just to get big threats off the board, just ones that have not got an ETB trigger or getting rid of that pesky token that's got all the buffs on it. And we've gone down to 3 Pillar of Flames. Zombies isn't too much of a problem anymore in my local meta anyway, so the Exile is great, but spot removal is good for getting rid of like Deathrite Shamans and Champion of the Parish. We're running 3 Searing Spear, which kills Thragtusk, kills its token, gets rid of a lot of the threats that are running around in standard right now, at least temporarily. And then we're running 2 Bonfire of the Damned, which is just great sweepers, doesn't affect you and it burns them in the face as well for silly amounts if you're playing it right. And moving on to the mana base, we're now running 4 Hallowed Fountains, Blue-White Shotgun, 3 Steam Vents. The reason we're only running 3 of these is because of the extra lands. We're running 4 Sulphur Falls, which are really, obviously blue-red. One of the white sources we've got again is the Clifftop Retreats. Running 4 Glacial Fortress. And the new addition we're running is 2 Cavern of Souls. Now these are great for getting the Thundermaws onto the board. if they're running a lot of essence scatter and counter spells, this just safeguards everything that you want to resolve creature wise, especially if it's for a restoration angel to save a Geist as well. Only one Moorland Haunt as a way out for chump blockers, and then we've got the 3 basic lands as before. So moving on to the sideboard, just put these over here. We're running, these 10 levels. We got Jace Memory Adept, puts them on I think it's about a 5 turn clock, I'd say. As soon as he comes out, they either have to deal with him or just get decked out completely. Don't really use his abilities, other ones, although I suppose the +1 can be used in a sort of draw advantage thing. Also works with the Emblem of Tamia, which is great. Mill yourself for 10 just to draw 10. She speaks for herself. She's just she is the best planeswalker in standard, I do think, anyway. Running 2 Dispel. If we're not drawing into counter fluxes, we want something to combat the wars, or like the Sphinx's Revelations at the end of turns if you've only got the 1 mana up from casting a big threat. In the late game, we're running 2 Negates. Again, just stuff to deal with planeswalkers, Sphinx's Revelation, any removal that we really don't want. We're now down to 2 Knights of Glory. Like I say, these zombies isn't really so much of a matchup anymore, but being able to have something to back yourself up against when it does come up is always good. Running 2 Rest in Peace. I'd usually side out some Snapcasters for these, but although they do hurt us a little bit, they don't hurt us as much as they do with the Reanimator matchup. We're now running 2 Supreme Verdict, which is just wrath the board and then carry on. Uncounterable, good against control matchups. Another new addition is 2 Izzet Starcasters. So these are great against the token matchups, getting rid of mana dorks, so Lingering Souls, Avacyn's Pilgrim. Just great ways of getting these off the board and slowing down the ramp and any of the smaller creatures they get on. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Any feedback is very much appreciated. We'll be MTG signing off. Thanks, guys.